Hi, my name is Jacqueline Junker, and the test that I will be administering is the Brigance. The Brigance was created by Albert Brigance in 2010. The publisher is Curriculum Associates. There were two main figures in creating the Brigance. The first one was Francis Glasgow. He conducted a national validation study of the 45 key assessments. The second key figure was Brian French. He collected and analyzed all of the data. The Brigance was conducted on a large, diverse population of 1,366 students whose families represented the population of the United States. The SIBS-2 is a highly reliable tool. It has outstanding internal consistency, a high degree of inter-rater retest reliability with expected performances, differences in young children, and on certain tasks known to be less than consistently demonstrated. The sample divided by race and sex coefficient ranged from 0.65 to 0.91. On alternative forms, reliability coefficients compared favorably with reference value of 0.88. The Brigance assesses students from the readiness to the 1st through 6th grade section, so the ages range from 5 to 13. These tests assess students in real-life situations. As a result of the strong research base, the Brigance is able to identify students that are gifted, students with special needs, and students who are developing at a typical rate. SIBS-2 is divided into two different sections. The first section is readiness. The second section is 1st through 6th grade. The Brigance is able to produce students grade equivalency as well as age equivalency in the following categories: oral expression, listening comprehension, written expression, basic reading skills, reading comprehension, math calculation, and math problem solving. For readiness, the assessor will need the SIBS-2 standardized book, which would be this. They would need a record book, which would be this. Scoring pages, which is inside. They will need reproduced copies of student pages, blank sheets of paper, a stopwatch for some of the tests, pencils, 10 blocks or objects for counting, as well as masking tape for a couple of the assessments. If they're going to do the 1st through 6th grade assessments, they will need the SIBS-2 standardized book, a record book, the appropriate standardized scoring sheet, which is included inside the record book in the back, over here, blank sheets of paper, pencil, and a stopwatch. It is important that when the administrator is administering the Brigance SIBS-2 that they adhere to the record book. In the record book, it will give you the basal and the ceiling. For the basal, if you start at number 6 and they are able to get 6 through 10 correct, it is stated that that means that they will get 1 through 5 correct. Now, if they are unable to get them correct, if they are unable to get 6 through 10 correct, then we must start at number 1. Now, the ceiling is 5 consecutive incorrect responses. So if we start at number 1 and they get number 1 through 5 correct, but if they get 6 through 10 incorrect, we would stop at number 5 and they would get 5 correct responses because they got 6 through 10 incorrect. This helps the students not get so discouraged. It is important that when the assessor is assessing the student that they follow key guidelines. They should use verbal reinforcement. They should not gaze at the correct answer. Do not prompt students with reminders such as, "We learned this yesterday." Respond with non-committal encouragement. Introduce the assessment to the student in advance. Position the SIBS-2 standardized strategically. Here's an example of how you could position the assessment. So you should position it as an A, This is the student side. This is the teacher's side. When assessing, the teacher should read word for word. For example, it says, say, show me your thumbs. The teacher should read that word for word and not deviate from those instructions. When assessing the student, it is important that you are on the teacher's side. On the teacher's side, it says, say one word in each list does not belong with the other words. Look at the example. It is important that you follow word for word what that says. The student should be looking at this side. As the student goes through each list, you should be pointing at where they're supposed to be. That way they are able to follow. This is an example of the Brigance incorrectly administered. What letter is this? Very good. What letter is this? Oh, try again. Okay, good try. What letter is this? Come on, Johnny, remember we learned this yesterday. Come on, you can do it. I know you can do it. Okay. Very good. So the reason why this is incorrectly administered is because they were giving verbal prompts. They were saying, remember we learned this yesterday? That should not be done. When doing the Brigance, it's important to be consistent and give no prompts to the student. Hi, Johnny. How are you doing today? Good. Awesome. I'm so happy. Well, I just wanted to remind you, remember that your 3 years coming up, your 3-year for your IEP, and I know you've done this test before. We're just going to do it again, and we're going to get through it together, okay? Perfect. So first, I would like you to count these squares above. How many do you see? Perfect, thank you. Okay, now I would like you to count these hearts. How many do you see? Awesome, thank you. Count these faces and tell me how many you see. Thank you. Now count these objects. Tell me how many you see. Thank you. Okay, now count these houses. Tell me how many you see. Perfect. Thank you so much. And lastly, let's count the stars and tell me how many you see. Awesome. Thank you so much, Johnny, and thank you for taking my test. Awesome. Okay, Johnny, now we're going to take our second test. Now, just like I said, this is for your 3-year. We just have to get through this together and it's going to be great, okay? Awesome, thank you. These are words of warning we often see on signs. Look at each word carefully and read it aloud. Begin here. Great, thank you. Awesome. Awesome, Johnny, thank you. Perfect. Great. Great, thank you, Johnny. Awesome. Okay, Johnny, this is going to be our third test. You will often see these warning labels on bottles, cans, and other containers. These labels warn that certain chemicals can be dangerous to your health. Look at each label carefully and read it aloud. Begin here. Thank you. You can go to the next one. Perfect, thank you. You can go to the next one. Great, thanks. Awesome. Okay, so Johnny, this is our fourth test. This is word recognition, okay? So I want you to read the word aloud as quickly as you can. Start with the first word on the list. Beautiful. Good job. Good job. Good job. Awesome. Thank you. Good job. Perfect. Thank you so much. Great. Awesome. Okay, Johnny. So now I'm going to say 2 words. If they sound exactly the same, I want you to say yes. If they do not sound exactly the same, I want you to say no. Make sure you listen carefully to the words. Boy, toy, are they the same? Thank you. Tab, tab. Perfect, thank you so much. Bit, mit. Thank you. Pot, pot. Thank you. Vat, bat. Awesome. Lead, lead. Perfect, thank you. Hi, Johnny. This is our sixth and final test for the day. So one word in each of the lists does not belong with the other 4 words. Look at the example. Let's see. The example says door, window, bike, floor, and wall. Which one of these do not belong? In this example, bike does not belong. Okay, now let's move on and we're going to go to list number 1. Tell me which one does not belong. Perfect. Which one does not belong? Thank you. Which one does not belong? Great. I will name a few pros for the Brigance as well as a few cons for the Brigance. Some of the pros for the Brigance is that the record book can be used over and over. The evaluator is also able to see what the student knew on previous assessments, which will help them understand where to start in their current assessment. The skills are also broken down into small increments, which allows the educator to understand what specific skill set that is needed to make the different goals. The cons for the Brigance is that the length is very long, which means it will take several days to complete the testing. The other con that I have seen in the Brigance is that some pages need to be copied prior to the assessment, which causes the evaluator to take extra time besides the actual assessment. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.